We back, boys.
Maybe, question mark. I've got cautious optimism. You're a little bit more optimistic than me.
I just meant literally, like you and I are back.
I thought you were saying like the series is back. Yeah, are we?
No, I understand your cautious optimism. I was constructing a metaphor well setting up for the filming here, okay? So we have a long, complicated relationship with Fujimoto and Chainsaw Man as a whole. For this conversation, they will be melded into one super being. It's both Fujimoto and the series. They are one. We started reviewing Chainsaw Man chapter 20-ish or so. We were pretty early adopters. One of the prides of my career is still that one Reddit post on r/Chainsaw Man where someone's like, hey, are there any Chainsaw Man YouTube reviewers? Because, like, fuck, dude, I want to listen to some Chainsaw Man reviews. And, like, we were, like, one of the three. And yeah, these fucking guys, they review it every week back when we did. I'm like,
and
yeah.
Then life.
we swept in, bro. We swept in and we filled that was capitalism to a T. There was a need, there was a want for a product, and we fulfilled it.
But much like capitalism,
it will inevitably fail. But what was I gonna say? So anyway, I consider those early years. That was the dating. We were dating Fujimoto, and it was sweet. And he was showing me. I was learning new things about him every week. It was getting better and better and better. Then around the time the beach chapter hit, the gun devil shit, we got married to the man. We were married. It was a beautiful marriage. The happiest time, the honeymoon time. We were so happy, everything was great. Then we had the 2-week break, which was like 2-year break. I'm gonna look at that as like we moved in together, slowly start things to become more normal. And then now, the last couple months has kind of been like, I'm seeing like, he's throwing his dirty underwear around the house and he's being like grubby and gross. And I was seeing new sides of him. And I was like, oh no, Fujimoto, I thought you were really him. I thought you were him. Well, I thought you were infallible, like Pixar before Cars came out, but then I'm hoping now this is the moment. This is my hope. This chapter, we've gone to couples therapy. And we're seeing a new lease on life. But we are cautiously optimistic. He was beating us a couple months ago. And, we had to call fucking the cops on him. And it was like a whole thing. But now we might be back. I see the spark back in his eye. I'm hoping he took a break. I don't see a 2-week break for this next chapter. It's 7 days till the next one. So I'm hopeful. We'll see. If we get 5 fire chapters in a row, we will officially declare Chainsaw Man as back. Vex. Vex is agreed.
That fucking metaphor.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Somebody clip that and send that to me personally. I want to use that when this comes back.
Yeah, can you put that on our Twitter as a clip? You clip that. Sure. You clip that. Don't be lazy.
Fucking give me a timestamp, bitch.
We all know that Achievement Hunter started getting shit when Gavin and Jeff stopped being the ones that were editing, okay? The timestamp is at the fucking beginning of the video, dipshit.
Fucking hell, I'll download this shit and edit that out.
You don't gotta download. Isn't there like a clip maker on YouTube?
It's 60 seconds, though.
You can get most of it. Make 2 60-second clips subsequently back to back.
I will download the fucking video and edit it in a fucking DaVinci. Sure. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
So what do we want to start with here? I have something if you don't have. All right, I'll start. Okay, so let's start with, in typical Controlled Chaos style, or Chaos Squared, I guess, for this channel. We're gonna kind of jump around the order, okay? I want to start with as a former sexual assault Chan defender. I'm what a sentence that is.
Somebody bleep Chan and then send the rest of that to me. I'm going AI deep fake that shit.
No. As a former sexual assault Chan. Look at how much of there's such a big space. They'll never believe you. Defender. You know, Fujimoto built different. I forgot, all the typical, signs for a character redemption or an arc, and they don't need to mean anything. She can actually just be. So I'm taking the L. All right, like she was just a sexual assaulter. And now she's like, give me his body parts, give me the fingernails. I want a hair. I'm gonna make a voodoo doll out of him, and I'm gonna fucking. All right.
Okay.
That's probably true, right? I mean, she's probably gonna do so. She's a collector, and she's a big Chainsaw Man fan. I'm starting to think.
Ass, she would have like Eggine's skin and shit, and then just fucking thrown around her serial killer museum.
She's gonna get like a vibrating egg and stuff it full of his fingernails and hair, and then put it up her.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that.
Well, the way I'm going to choose to interpret her character now is that when she gave the whole beautiful speech on like, I'm not just a Chainsaw Man fan, I'm a Denji fan. It was just bullshit. And she actually is just a weird, like, parasocial Chainsaw Man fan who like says that she's a fan of him. But really, I always go back to one of the best quotes in Bleach is Aizen when he says admiration is the furthest thing from understanding, right? Mm-hmm. So she's like, she's a fan of him, but in the same way as like the paparazzi desperately trying to get pictures of some celebrity, and then like they blind the celebrity with the flash, and then they get run over by a car, and they wouldn't stop to help him. They would just keep taking pictures of his dying, twitching corpse. That's the way she's a fan of him, Yeah,
absolutely. Like,
go ahead.
She's the type of person who would drive Britney crazy back in the day. Like, yeah.
100%. So like here he is literally being like about to be disassembled by the government, and she's like, it sucks to suck, he because like the second you saw in the last couple chapters, the second he turned into Chainsaw Man, she was like, oh, well, you broke the contract, you see ya. Even though it's your fault, bitch, it's your fault he broke the contract. If you just did your fucking job and protected him. Anyway,
it almost like makes you wonder if like this is actually what you wanted, so she can have parts of him.
Dude, yeah, the fourth dimensional chess, absolutely, I can believe it. So we see the return of Goat Sheeta. I don't know why I'm calling him that, but he hasn't done shit.
He's just done with everything. He's over here like, you dumb motherfucker.
I do like that.
He's stupid fucking bitch.
I explained it so a monkey could understand it.
and like, you are dumber than the monkey.
But what?
How is this possible?
Again, I ask though, what was the alternative? His ass was getting assaulted.
Yeah, no, like you're right, and the blame should be put on Fumiko, sexual assault, Chan.
Yeah.
But instead, you got a bunch of government goons here just ready to dissect Denji, and just I guess harvest his body parts, but.
I am wondering what. Yeah. I don't know I'm curious what the plan is here because like they say something about this app is being straight ass right now. It won't turn the pages and it's pissing me off.
I was just getting white pages, so I went to the Manga Plus app.
There you go. Okay, I got it. Finally, it is working. They say leg 27. So like, is the idea that like we're gonna keep cutting off the limbs until he stops regenerating because it goes off of blood, right? So, like, I imagine, like, the idea is we're going to cut all his limbs off until they're all, like he has no more blood to regenerate, and then are they just going to keep him like that so he's not, like, a danger? I don't know what the plan is.
Or, they could just take his goddamn heart.
There's got to be something keeping them from doing that. There's got to be. Because I have to assume that there's a reason.
Yeah, but I mean, if they don't want him to turn back to Chainsaw Man, they could just take his heart. Do they just want him as, like, essentially, like a Wolverine style, like, you are our, like, last hope here kind of thing? In case shit hits the fan, we'll release you from this detention center?
I think that might be it, because, like, they've established many times that they don't think that there's any way to defeat the Nostradamus apocalypse prediction without the Death Devil, I guess. They think they need Chainsaw Man because remember, and actually, yeah, this has been established because even Yoshida in the Aquarium arc was kind of ceding that to him. He was like, oh, it'd be nice if the Chainsaw Devil ate the Death Devil, right? And the thing is, if you take out the heart and crush it, then it's reborn and you have no control over it anymore. You don't know who the fuck knows where it's gonna be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the logic in this would be like, hey, if we're just doing human experimentation here, why not slap the fucking chainsaw heart in somebody else? You know,
But maybe the concern that won't work. I
the
mean,
concern
because
might be a
yeah, go ahead.
not work, but also you have an infinite supply of former devil prisoners here.
Mm,
Theoretically, we go into like some really dark territory with like experimentation of like, hey, we'll take some years off your sentence here if
hmm.
you do this.
Well, I think the issue is that that's not how it works. Remember
Oh,
what Denji has with Puchita is a contract, right? It
right.
wasn't just that they were like implanted into them. They had to make a contract. So I think that if Puchita said fuck you, I'm not making a contract with anyone, there's nothing they could do to give anyone else
Yeah.
that power. I think is you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. But then why would Bareem and his group want the heart to begin with, right? Like there's
That
a
is
lot.
yeah, I'm trying to think. That's a great point. Yeah, and that's I think when we discuss what the weaknesses are of this series, to me that is one of them, right? Sometimes it's not like conveyed as well as I wish it was, like what like cuz
Mhm.
I agree with you. I still don't fully grasp if he literally meant he wanted the heart or if he was just being like metaphorical and symbolic, cuz now my vague understanding of like Bareem and his group's plan now was like, okay, we want to strengthen Chainsaw Man and War Devil because they're going to be the key. So we're going to make a Chainsaw War.
Mhm.
So I wonder if maybe he was just being spooky. Maybe it was maybe we're supposed to be taking it metaphorically because maybe it was like, oh, what matters more to you, your like loved ones and friends, or the chainsaw heart, not necessarily like I want that, but more like what do you take more seriously, your relationships, your family, or your duty as Chainsaw Man? Is maybe I'm going to maybe guess maybe he meant that metaphorically. If I was to go, I'd have to go back and read it again.
I
um
mean, it could all be one giant metaphor, but it definitely seems like it was more of an important line than just a throwaway
I
metaphor,
don't think a
right?
throwaway. I think what he would be trying to say would be like, if that's the way I'm interpreting it, which again, I'm not disagreeing with you that it could have been conveyed better. It definitely could have been. But my hope is that maybe what was meant there was him saying, because his point is we need you to get your shit together and be Chainsaw Man to save the world. And you're over here fucking picking up cigarettes and selling them to homeless people and fucking trying to date. Fuck you, you don't get to have a normal life because you need to do this. And their way of like forcing him into that was like more extreme, I guess, was the idea. That's all I can yeah, that's my hope. And I think that that's what he meant by that line was like, what's more important to you, the chainsaw powers that you have or your friends and family? You're gonna have to make a choice because that was kind of the running theme. The government were saying the same thing. You choose your normal life or you choose your duty as Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible that's what it is, and I could just be reading way too much into it. But I do wish there was more like proper conveyance of what was meant in this. That is definitely one of the weaker points in the
Yeah, and the
series.
shitty part is, inevitably, just by saying this, there will be people that just say we're stupid, which is like what because like, and it's tough because there are things that I read and I read like I don't know, like let's say like Hunter x Hunter, which is like more on the complex end of a series, as like manga goes. And like I'll read it and I'll be like, I'll get immediately like I'll be like, okay, this is what I get out of that, and then I'll find, because media comprehension is so dead these days, someone else might get something totally different, and it's like, well, I was so sure that was right, and I don't know, it's
Yeah, I mean, I get that people think that they're big brain for enjoying the series, but this is an issue I've seen with Fujimoto through all of his works, right?
yeah. I remember even in part one, you were like, I want more clarification on
Yeah,
XYZ. Yeah.
and as somebody that's went back and read like his one shots and read Fire Punch and all of this other shit, it's definitely like a struggle with him is like conveying actually what it means. And there's beauty in leaving shit open to interpretation, but when a giant portion of your universe is open to interpretation, that strikes me as like a weakness to you.
Yeah, that's a conversation we've had before, and I remember what I said was like, there are two types of writers. There's writers that like want to detail everything down to like like an essay level, and then there are writers
Mm-hmm.
that are more like, I'm going to show you like a tiny window, a tunnel vision into my universe, and everything outside of that like window is up to you to headcanon, right? And Fujimoto does that like extensively, because there's like there's a whole hell, there's like the way that like demons and rebirth works and stuff, and he gives you like little snippets on how it works. But, you know, whereas like One Piece, Oda's going to show you every little aspect of his world, you know, and so it's like there's a tightrope walk to be had, because you don't want an author who feels the need to, like, he doesn't trust his readers, and he feels the need to explain everything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, it's like, and I feel like that as someone who's like dabbled in writing, that is a hard tightrope to walk. It's because everyone has different levels of like how much they need things fully spelled out versus not spelled out, you know? And like sometimes I worry that like maybe I'm just being too stupid, or, you know, maybe, but who knows? But it is, you know, it's an issue I run into with some series, and it's an issue that I don't run into with others. So sometimes Chainsaw Man, I have a hard time with the conveyance for sure. But maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe we're thinking about it too much, like you said.
It could be. It could be we're thinking about it too much, and it's just meant to be a throwaway line or just a metaphor. But,
I mean, that's going to be a problem we run into when we theorize for an hour and a half for every chapter, I guess.
That is also true. I love that he's still concerned about Nayuta, though.
Oh, like, yeah, me too.
Even though he dismissed her, you know, like, be gone.
I think what that comes down to is, like, I think we've all had moments where in the heat of, like, a moment where you're angry or emotionally distraught, you're going to say things you don't mean, right? Like, I think that's superhuman of him. Like, you know, fuck you, kill yourself, I've never loved you. And then, like, tomorrow you're like, oh my God, why did I say any of that, right? I think it came from a real place emotionally. Like, the things he was saying, I think he had such built up emotional trauma and turmoil from just, like, how depressed and, like, because he was having the worst kind of depression, which was like nihilistic depression, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even depression out of things like a bunch of shit going wrong in his life. I mean, there were things going wrong, but I think the more where his depression was coming from was just like, oh wow, is this what daily life is? It's just like boring day in, day out, shitty, awful, nothing to look forward to. So that the moment where his house catches on fire, it's like I can let loose again. You know, I have an excuse to let loose again. And he looks, I think in that moment, he looked at Nayuta as the anchor to what held him down to like a boring life, when he could be doing James Bond shit. He could be flying around to different countries, being like a superhero vigilante. I think that's the life he wishes for. But like Kishibe, potentially even purpose. This might have been the reason he did that. Kishibe saddled him with Nayuta, potentially to anchor him, to keep him from being a psychopath and like going all around as Chainsaw Man. So I think in that moment it was like, fuck yeah, this is the life I've always wanted, and you're the reason that I've always been held back. So he took out that anger on her, but there is a real love there, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've said things out of anger too. Like it's definitely something that is a very human emotion. I mean, all the way back to like the beginnings of the original channel, even like we've had our fallings out with like previous creators as well, and I've definitely wish I could go back and, you know, do things differently even back then.
Yeah.
But there comes a time where like you have to prioritize like your own, you know, health and happiness over, you know, shitting out 75 different shows at a time too. You know. So like there's a need to like have that balance of like human emotion conveyed, and then obviously in the series, yeah, it's like the baser instincts of a lot of different things. You have like the incarnations of sin, you have the incarnations of like the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So like having that balance between like the like supernatural in that sense and like the human nature is definitely a touching thing. It kind of reminds me a bit of Devilman. I've compared those two a lot, but really does fit that you know balance there. And I think it's like more fresh on my mind because like that was one of the first streams I did during COVID, was like binging through the original Devilman because I had never read it. So like that one like really stuck out to me because I was reading it at the same time we were still reviewing part one, you know? So like, to me, those two kind of, are in the same headspace, I guess. But there is one other thing here that I find absolutely interesting, and it is right here in, go to page 6 and 7.
shall. You said 6 through 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once my app decides to work.
Yeah, no, like that's been my struggle all day. It's working better on PC, but you're also using your laptop to record
I don't
this.
if I had like 2 screens, I would.
Yeah.
Here, I'm getting there. Okay, well, all right, I'm there. What's up?
So, see how Fumiko has a needle there?
I'm pretty. That's not Fumiko. That's Yoshida.
No, Yoshida is. Well,
No,
I mean, it could
is.
be Yoshida's.
No, it is. Go to the previous page. Yoshida was the one that was the one who put him down.
Oh yeah, Yoshida has the needle.
Do you see on page 6? It's in.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was in the room with him, and then go back a couple pages. There's a part where he touches the back of his head, and his neck.
You're right.
It was him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the scheming little shit, and I've called him that the entire time. I originally thought it was just Fumiko's hand until I looked closer at that.
Well, Fumiko wasn't in the room with him. It was Yoshida alone in the room, and then he walks out, and he's like, "All right."
I thought we had one of the classic like Fujimoto like switcheroos there, where he stepped out and let them do their work, and he didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that can happen in manga where you don't know how much time has passed between panels.
Right.
I understand that kind of mistake, but yeah, just like I said, I think sometimes you read when you're too eepy. You're on the eepiness.
I read this like right as I woke up.
No, wake up a little better. Wake up a little more first. Now that Chainsaw Man's good again, you got a fucking reading comprehension devil.
I'll channel my inner reading comprehension devil as the rest of the fandom.
By the way, that joke, I've complained about it before. It doesn't make any sense. I hate it.
Oh no,
it's stupid.
It is 100% stupid.
Because like people just say that, but it's like, wait, hold on, reading comprehension. That would be fear of reading comprehension. So I guess
have you been to the South Red?
Right. But like the problem with stupid people is that they don't know they're stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
So like
That's
people
fair.
who don't have reading comprehension wouldn't fear reading comprehension because they think they do. The stupidest people think they're smart. That's the unfortunate reality of the world.
Oh, absolutely. So like with Yoshida being the one to bear the sin, I wonder, like, is he going to have any moment of self-reflection, like, or is it just going to be just another day on the job for him, right?
Well, I do wonder who's actually calling the shots here. Is it Yoshida or is there someone above him, I guess is the question.
Yeah, that's where we come back to where is Kishibe, right? Is he the one that said, well, you done fucked up, boy?
Yeah, because he says, you broke the rules, there's nothing more I can do to help you. And if he was like the big boss, then surely he could call it off and he could do anything. But if he's not the high up guy, that means there's got to be someone higher up that made that told Yoshida, like, okay, you go and tell him that if he does this happens. So I assume there's someone above them.
Yeah, that's the curious point where I'm at. And that's another, like, I would like to have the organizational structure of this division, this new division, explained, right?
Yeah, hopefully at some point.
Because, like, we see Fumiko, we see a bunch of other nameless people, we see Yoshida. We know Quan is somehow involved. To a degree.
True, yeah. Well, it seems like you know what it seems like? It seems like they must have someone of high power, because we know it ain't Fumiko unless she was like purposefully sucking, which would be great, by the way. Honestly, if they revealed that she was purposely being shit at her job, that would be amazing. I actually would love that. But I feel like they have to have some power in their corner because they've like kind of made dogs out of not all, but a lot of like really powerful hybrids. I mean, to get Quan working with them, and it's not like, it doesn't seem like they're like lording themselves over her. It seems like she's willingly working, but they must have, I don't know, I feel like they must have, it feels like they've gone around and like, all right, we're not going to make the same mistakes as before. We're going to have these power people in our corner, and if they fucking disobey, we have ways of dealing with that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like something that needs to be broke down to at least some extent at this point, because we have so many high-ranking people playing for the government that they were once fighting against here. So they either got offered like a hell of a deal, or they were threatened with being locked away in maybe this prison.
Yeah, a nice big explanation chapter would be good. And speaking of the prison, like, one of the reasons I got so hyped is because this is just such a great setup. You know what I mean? Now, you're right. A lot of it will come down to how is the setup executed properly, because that's kind of been Fujimoto's weakness lately, is setting up a bunch of cool stuff and then like never, you know what I mean? Like you're at a bowling alley and they keep setting up the bowling pins and Fujimoto's throwing the bowling ball through the ceiling.
Honestly, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, but like a Prison Break is just classic peak fiction. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking,
Right.
I'm reminded of like Impel Down from One Piece. Like that's One Piece's Prison Break arc, and it's one of the best in the series. It's a great, you know, and like at the end, I love this line at the end, where they say it would take a war to compromise this facility safety, and it's like, bro, okay, yeah, so it's Asa War Devil time, where Asa's coming in to get her man, her autistic man. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I love how Twitter's like coping and seething that it might be Rize. I'm
Yeah,
like,
if
nah.
you don't know that it's obvious, like, because Vex was telling me about all these other theories, and I'm like, what are you fucking talking about, dude? They literally, they might as well have looked at the screen and said, gee willikers, it would take a war.
Yeah.
A war devil. Some sort of war devil in the body of a high schooler. And I love this close-up of, no doubt, Asa's legs at the end here.
Yeah,
as always, we be slurping. I'm a leg guy. I'm a leg guy.
Yeah, like I love how we are just cutting out the same leg here too, right? Because if you look on like pages 12 and 13, right leg amputation,
right leg 27. Yeah, that's what that's what I was talking about earlier. I think they're just cutting it off over and over and over and over and over again until it stops regenerating, I think is the idea. That's my hope.
Yeah, but like again, you could just cut off other limbs and, you know, render him completely useless too. Like, if you want to actually stop him from turning into Chainsaw Man, why not the arms so he can't pull the ripcord?
Vex, they keep growing back.
But if he runs out of blood from the amputation, he
Vex,
wouldn't.
I hate it when you do this, where you look for something to complain about. There's plenty of things to complain about, and you search for some dumb shit. Like, listen to me. You can look on the page. They're not just going for his right leg, because on the first page we see him. They're switching legs, are they not? I'm looking. Hold on. Yeah, because look. So they have his, from our perspective, left leg. It's cut off. You see that, right? Yeah. Like go to the front. Go to page 10.
Yeah, I'm on page 10.
Okay, so that's his left leg cut off, and now they're moving to the right. So what that means to me is they are switching back and forth, because it's not like Undead Unluck. It's not like boop and then it's back. It grows. It kind of grows back a little, right? So what I'm assuming they're doing is going around,
back and forth.
Yeah, they're probably literally
it's the dialogue there that's annoying though, because you see on the first panel of page 12, it's like. You see the obvious, like, other leg cut off.
Yeah.
It's right leg, but we'll also start on the right leg.
Yeah, maybe it should have been like, I agree. It would have been nice if it was like, now we'll move to left arm 37 or so. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I just, that felt like a nitpicky thing for me, and I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, it just, like, it's little things like that I'm just like, why not? You have one leg bandaged up there. You're obviously actually cutting off other limbs. Why not dialogue something else?
I guess that comes back to what we were saying, is the conveyance is always kind of a little strange, you know? And like, I feel like Fujimoto, the vibe I get from the way he writes is he doesn't really think about conveyance as much. Like, I feel like it's feeling very like George Lucas prequels, where like Fujimoto, I wonder if he's like, I'm fucking Fujimoto. I'm the Chainsaw Man
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I don't need editors to look over shit and make sure it's conveyed well. It's possible.
Or it's just a mistranslation.
That could be it too. Yeah. Because it is weird that they say right leg, but it's like, yeah, like you're right. Like the left leg is cut off, so why not mention that one? That's fair. Yeah. But it is nitpicky though. We were saying.
Oh, it is. It is nitpicky. It's just like one of those little things. I'm like reading through it again. I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to get at here? Mm-hmm. But, like, since its founding, no devil's ever escaped this facility. When did this become a thing, and why weren't they utilizing it in part 1, I'm wondering?
I mean, we don't know, right? I'm trying to think. Like, every time so normally they would kill devils in part 1. But I suppose it does make sense, though, that, like, a particularly powerful one you would try to contain, because if you can contain them, then they won't get reborn into the world, right?
This might also be where, like, Makimo was having, like, Aki, form extra contracts at.
Ooh, yeah. I'll have to go back and look at that chapter and see if that's where. Ooh, wait, dead ass, maybe, because I mean they had the goddamn future devil in there. So I mean this might be. Yeah, that's a good point.
So this is something that was already established in.
If it is that first, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean
that would be a nice little throwback.
That would be. I'm gonna go back at some point and see if they like mention specifically where they are, and if it is this, that'd be cool.
I do think there could also be one other possibility for this, and it could be Nayutsu scouting out this facility to bring war there. Because if you look at the last time we saw Asa, I put up like a picture from the subreddit. The last time she was seen, she had a longer dress on than this. So unless she had a wardrobe change from her destroyed apartment, or she cut the bottom of her dress off to kind of show that much leg.
She's in like mega slurp mode.
Yeah.
Mega slurp mode. All right, let me find. You retweeted it. Let me look at this picture.
I actually just tweeted it from the Vex on YTG account because I said it. No, I said a no, and I got the Vexatron banned.
Vex. Do I follow your other one?
Maybe I'll send it to you really quick.
Yeah, because I just want to look.
Boop. She has like a full length, almost like Catholic school dress here.
Yeah.
Going on.
Thank you.
The shoes match, but that dress is a little longer.
Let me see. I mean, bro, it's okay. Yeah, they would come over the knees. You're right. That's a good point. I mean, bro, if she showed back up in like a mini skirt, that's only good things for all of us. We've been blessed, truly.
Twitter be popping off next chapter.
I love the idea that War Devil is like, Asa's like, oh my god, they took Denji / Chainsaw Man over there. We need to go get him. And then War Devil's like, not dressed like that, you're not. We're going to go in here looking fucking fire.
Yeah, we're going to go in here in our Sunday best.
I hope, dude. I hope she got rid of the school outfit and she's in some, like, absolute, like, banger ass, like, clothing. That'd be sick as fuck. Like, she comes in and she's, like, looking like, I'm trying to think, like some, what's, like, a super badass, like, badass female character, like one of those types where they come in with like a giant, like those like giant guns where they have to like crank it with their hands.
You're talking instead of like Jill from Resident Evil, more like Alice from the shitty Resident Evil movies here.
Oh, I'm thinking kind of like Ceres from Helsing, maybe.
Yes.
Where, because she has, bitches love cannons, right? And she's just like, and she's holding it with her two hands and like aiming it.
God, yes.
I just want to see War Devil Asa come in here like fucking, and it's so good because remember, I know it's been a while since we've like had this mentioned, but like they, Asa wants Denji. War Devil wants Chainsaw Man, so they're both determined as fuck to get in there, and I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, it'll be nice to see this, but I definitely just want a good payoff. That's all I'm asking for.
And what this series needs right now is to focus in. You know what I mean? Focus in on Asa and Denji. Don't give me like 37 rando background characters that show up for one chapter to go chip chip cheerio, you're a bunch of poppins, and then never show up for another 20 chapters.
I mean, we got our nameless fucking characters here with Fumiko and Yoshida.
Well, that's okay. Their background, as long as to me, that's okay because you got to establish that this is like a division. There's more people. It's okay to have randos in the background as long as you don't make them important. You know what I mean? They can just be there to look okay. You know what I mean? Like if you're writing a story about like a whole army's invading. You can have randos in the background as long as you don't zoom in on one of the randos and be like, this guy's
going to be like 7 chapters of that. Looking at you, Kishimoto.
Yeah, like Naruto, exactly. Or sometimes Fujimoto does it in a different way where he'll zoom in on a rando and we'll focus on a rando for like one chapter and then they never show up again.
Or they die.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I am a slut for death. I do like death in series.
I mean, I'm a slut for death too, but like part 1, you were just killing every character.
And it was great. And it was peak fiction. Don't even pretend like it wasn't. I loved it.
It was beautiful. But
it was a good palate cleanser for Promised Neverland at the time, where I wanted more of the children to die because they should have. They should have died.
Advocating for child murder
in fiction.
Absolutely,
you can do anything in fiction. That's the beautiful thing.
All right.
Do you remember Spray and Pray the Kids Away?
Yeah, and didn't you also edit Kids with Guns into that bit?
Dun, 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 dun. Probably. I think, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Well, is there anything else to talk about?
Not really, no.
No, it was a good chapter. Don't act like it was because...
No, I'm not saying it was bad. I was like, I don't think there's anything else other than the fact there was armed personnel on site, which means fuck all in Chainsaw Man.
You've only made the gun devil stronger.
Well, are we going to get subdivisions of the fucking gun devil as weapons progress?
Yeah. Armed personnel, around the clock, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what kind of, measures they take to keep, like, super powerful devils in here. I will say, too, that this, like, page turn is, like, peak Chainsaw Man. Like, I love the, like, he's talking to Puchita, and then you turn and you see his leg cut off. Like, that's pretty sick. I did.
Oh,
that.
yeah. Reminds me of, like, the going through the school during the school shooter arc.
His body's about to become... Yeah, I agree. Property of the state. Gotta add to my collection. Ew!
Such a fucking weird line from her.
She's the type to put... She would put figures of her favorite characters in jars.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Instead of a cum jar, it's a love nectar jar.
Yeah. Femcum. Or there's got to be a bit. I feel like I saw like a gross... I need to start collecting all the gross terms I've seen in like fanfics. I feel like
Please don't. I feel
like I saw fem syrup once.
Oh, you're making me repulsed of all people, by the way. And I'm the person put like their kinks onto Twitter.
I feel like if this was Fire Punch, Fujimoto would go the extra mile and just have her go
100%.
If it was Fire Punch, Fumiko would be going in there as he was sedated and like fucking him before he got like carted off to
prison. Like literally this would be the Shinji cum chapter of
She's like grinding her pussy against his fucking like hand or something.
No, she'd be using the nub as a dildo.
Oh, well, no, I'm talking before they took him to the prison.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because, that's why she needed to do it quickly. Wow. Well,
and with that, we're both canceled.
You say that you can't keep making the we're canceled joke when we never get canceled. We are uncancelable.
People think about that about political YouTubers on like what we're at right now.
The only thing that you could be canceled for, in my opinion, is something from your past that's scandalous. So, you better go cleanse your fucking, all your old socials.
I didn't have socials till I was in my 20s. I'm very
thankful
God for
that. Peace.
Peace.